So picking it back up now, just talking about things kind of like outside of the box, which probably are not really talked about a lot. In terms of like spirituality, do you know much about the third eye, or like how fluoride might have an adverse effect on that?
The pineal gland, calcification, toxins in the food, air. I've heard that it can calcify the pineal gland, and the pineal gland is in the center of the brain. It's kind of like the third eye, and it actually has a lens and fluid inside the eye.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of, like, if you look at, I don't know, like old pictures from like Hinduism, like there's like these people and they're like, and they have that eye right in the center of their head. How do these people know about that, the pineal gland and this energy center or this eye?
Because I think that the world has fallen. I think that we were at a high stage of civilization in the past, but 13,000 years ago, that high civilization was wiped out, along with the megafauna in Siberia.
So we're living in a darker time than we were.
Well, there was a catastrophe, and a lot of that information was lost, or at least still exists in places like the Vatican Library and other places.
Still exists in the Bible or the Hindu texts.
Yeah, I mean, they've all got fragments of it. But I think we're regaining that information by finding these documents, and also directly from source we're regaining this knowledge.
Is there any way to reactivate the pineal gland to open up the third eye center, like meditation, or like you said, avoiding toxins? I don't know, like I had a third eye experience that I had never told anyone about, except maybe some people like you.
You told me about it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
That's why I bring it up, but I don't really want to put it on camera though. But anyway, do you have any other ideas about that?
Well, I've seen people posting information about how to decalcify your pineal gland.
What do you think about chakras?
The chakras, the energy system through the spine.
If you study Taoism, chakras are from like Hindu, I guess, like yoga, but also Chinese yoga is Taoism, and the Taoist philosophy is there's an energy body around us.
Yeah.
And that has, there are the meridians in the flow of energy through our body. Yeah. It connects to chakras, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm kind of open to that. I think that when you look at the atoms are just vibration. Like, you can't really pinpoint what an atom is.
There's an infinite amount of energy contained within an atom.
That's right, and so the whole makeup of the universe is still pretty mysterious. So nothing is what it appears, and from my personal experience, I know that there's more to the universe than what I was taught at school. At school, they teach you that we're living in a materialistic world, scientific world where reductionism, ghosts don't exist, UFOs are impossible. So that's the kind of brainwashing that we're exposed to as children. So, but through personal experience,
it takes a childlike curiosity.
Yeah. So a lot of people rediscover things later in life that
you have to learn to unlearn.
Exactly, Yoda. You must unlearn what you have learned.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah.
Well, I was reading a book on like Taoism called what was it called? By Deng Ming Dao. He's a good author on Taoist philosophy, and he was saying a part of the Taoist path is to be educated and to learn but then to let it fall like leaves, and then to unlearn is the most path to enlightenment.
Yeah, it's kind of a destructive. You've got to destruct what you've been
assimilated,
fed, or mostly fed. Nothing that you've discovered. Most of the information people have has been fed to them. They haven't discovered it.
Life should be like a dance. It's just like you just float through it. You don't float through it, but you move in harmony with it.
Yeah, it's a dance. Yeah. That's a good analogy, and it's like a piece of music, Ito Sensei is coming.
Ito Sensei.
So he's got a lesson here. So
is it okay to keep the camera on?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Hi, Satsu.
G'day. Hi.
Hi there.
So I've forgotten what the question was, but
that's all right. I guess we can move on to the next one. Any news on Elon Musk, by the way, while we're at it? Tesla cars, Elon Musk. Gotta ask you about that while we're going.
Yeah, I'm an Elon Musk fanboy. He's doing really well, actually. They've just about finished building the Gigafactory in Shanghai. There's a huge demand for the Tesla cars. The media is attacking him because the media basically has an agenda supporting the automakers and fossil fuel industry, so they're trying to bring him down.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. But that's the big fight, I guess, for him. Well, for these kinds of companies.
Yeah.
All the companies have I mean, every car company is moving towards electric cars. The Nissan Leaf or whatever, you see them a lot here.
So that's a really good thing, is that Tesla can't hope to supply the world's demands for electric vehicles, but what Tesla has done is forced other automakers to go into electric cars. So that's a great thing, and so he's doing a lot of good in the world. He's motivated not by money, but by making the world safer in terms of reducing pollution and making the world a multi-planetary species. So he's a bit like Steve Jobs in that he wants to change the world. He's not really interested in money or profit.
He's got money and profit. But yeah, I think it's good. But he has kind of an array of businesses. SpaceX. He has the cars. Are those all leading to like what's the?
Yeah, he's got energy business. So they make batteries. So the main thing is to make sustainable energy technology using lithium-ion battery technology, solar, and using that batteries in automobile technology. So this is to make...
it's a grassroots movement.
It's a change. It's a paradigm change of energy. So
we're at the hub of that?
We're in the change from one paradigm to a new paradigm. The old paradigm is burning fossil fuels, and the new paradigm is clean.
You go walk on the street, there are cars, it smells, they're loud, they're annoying, and it's like you're going to get sick at the same time. You're breathing in this exhaust fume. Cars are good. We need them. It's a part of our life. But dang, it's just like we got to do something,
Yeah, so you can have cars that are powered by clean energy instead of dirty energy. I mean, diesel is carcinogenic when it's burnt. It produces carcinogenic
I think the World
toxins.
Health Organization has some stats on people who die from pollution every year.
Yeah, it's huge.
I mean, it's not just cars. We're talking like factories and stuff.
Yeah.
But cars are, they're everywhere. It's like, gee whiz. But a lot of the, like South Africa, the market for electric cars, the developed countries, America, Tesla's got their base all around the States for their Japanese Kyoto, yeah. And in Japan, you see them, and you go to like a good supermarket. They have like one space where you can charge your car.
Yeah, destination charging.
It just makes me feel better and happier to see these cars and to see like, I don't know, cars just make me angry. Bad cars.
Trucks especially, trucks are super noisy. You choke on the fumes every time they pass.
You gotta like hold your breath until it's gone,
Yeah.
It's like, gee whiz.
So they're terrible things, and so I really admire Tesla because they're pushing the change of paradigm from fossil fuel to clean energy.
I pray that they succeed.
I think they will succeed.
I have confidence they will succeed.
Yeah.
They probably will.
And they don't do any commercials, they don't do any advertising.
Right.
It's all word of mouth, so it's kind of an organic
and
spread.
Everything is going electronic, cigarettes,
cars.
But like, I just think that we live in a more digitalized world these days, and like a lot of our reality is getting put into digital format or online. Even this is online.
Yeah.
And we're here right now, but I forgot what I was going to say.
We were talking about electric cars, and the
Elon Musk going to Mars
paradigm.
too.
Yeah. So
what's going on with Mars? What's going on with that?
Well, SpaceX have said that they're going to launch. They're going to land on the moon within 2 years, whether NASA wants to or not. They're just going to do their own thing.
It's a private enterprise. We don't need government.
But then NASA turned around and said, "Oh, actually, we want to be part of that too."
NASA, in my opinion, Tesla is so proactive that NASA puts them down sometimes. But then Elon turns around and does exactly what he says he's going to do, and they said you can't do that, but he does it. It's like we don't need government running this expedition to Mars. We need people like Elon Musk.
Yeah. See, governments and institutions don't change the world. People do. Like the Wright brothers did. They invented the aeroplane. Dizzy. Individuals invent things, the only things that governments do is collect tax and murder people, really. But people change the world, not governments. People change the world, not institutions. So, for example, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, the Wright brothers, Alexander Graham Bell, Tesla, Edison. These people change the world. Individuals change the world, not governments.
Good point. yeah. That wraps that point up. All right, cool. So let me see if there's anything. There's like so many things I want to talk about, and we're already at the third video. So I mean, I guess we can make one more, then call it quits on that.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to ask a little bit while we have like maybe 5 more minutes on this one. We talked about this earlier during lunch and even during the first video here. The rules that govern the realm or the field of quantum mechanics, and this is probably just no one's gonna listen to this. And the rules that are in place in Einstein's theory of general relativity, which deals with matter and energy and gravity and the big items in our universe,
right.
Whereas quantum mechanics focuses on this particle spins and like quantum entanglement and whatever have you,
right.
The Planck field. So what is the connecting factor between these two, and where does human consciousness play a role in that? And what about the guy you were talking about who talks about this stuff? And are we like, how does that fit into the multiverse, or how consciousness plays a factor on physics and the new physics or whatever? Any ideas about that, I guess?
Okay, well, I'm not a scientist, and but I'm really interested in these.
In layman terms, layman is good.
But there's a guy called Nassim Haramein who united relativistic physics with quantum physics, and in Einstein's world, matter and gravity define space, but in Nassim's theory, it's the opposite way around. Space is primary, and that defines and creates matter.
Look at Hinduism, everything is space and emptiness.
Yeah, so what we think of, in the way we've thought about it since Einstein,
before Einstein was Newtonian physics.
Yeah.
That was the platform. Then Einstein said, well, everything's not that constant. There is relativity, and mass is energy. Two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And where gravity fits in the speed of light, I don't really know, but.
Yeah. So after in Einstein's world, the world that we grew up with Einstein's physics, is that space is
from 1905.
Yeah, it's basically empty or low energy, but you have these high energy things in space which we call particles, which are super dense, and energetic. But Nassim's the opposite. He says that empty space is way more energetic than particles. Particles can be seen as bubbles of less dense space. So it's like we're living in a black hole. Like what we think of as empty space is actually super dense and super energetic. And what we think of as particles are actually little tiny areas where it's less dense.
What about the multiverse? What's going on?
Well, Nassim's theory doesn't think that we have multiple dimensions like...
if I just got up and walked over to where he's going right now, I'm not doing that now, but I could.
Well,
there's a split.
Well, we have 3 dimensions, up, down, left, right. But some physicists think that there's you can go 90 degrees to that and have a 4th dimension. But Nassim is more about the dimensions are a matter of scale. So if you look at an atom, it kind of looks like a solar system.
It does, yeah.
And when you look at a galaxy, it kind of has the same pattern. So the scale is the dimensions are just going from one scale to another scale. So when you go from dimension to dimension, you're going from different scales. You're just jumping scales. So you're going super small or super big.
We're in tune at this level, I guess.
And so the idea of dimensions is a little bit different in Nassim's view.
Okay.
But I recommend that people check out Nassim's videos on YouTube.
Yeah. And
his insights are really amazing, and his theories are actually becoming more and more mainstream.
I think he's kind of pushed. I'm glad that I found someone like that who's kind of trying to find that unified link.
Yeah.
And there's not many people, and nobody's really doing it. But we talked about